Have you ever found yourself grappling with life's deepest paradoxes? If a loving divine power created us, why is there so much suffering? Why does hatred persist amongst humans if we are all one? Why do good people face hardship? And why, when everyone is destined to pass away, does the departure of a loved one bring such profound grief? These are not new questions. These very same inquiries arose in the heart of a young prince over 2,600 years ago, compelling him to abandon his palace overnight in search of answers. Today, we embark on a transformative journey into the very heart of Buddhist philosophy, exploring the fundamental concepts of samsara, karma, dukkha, and the ultimate liberation of nirvana. We'll witness the pivotal moments after the Buddha's enlightenment, his initial hesitation to teach, and the powerful truths he unveiled in his first discourse, Turning the Wheel of Dhamma. This isn't just about ancient doctrines. It's about understanding the core mechanics of your own existence and discovering a clear path to lasting peace. Prepare to unlock the timeless wisdom that continues to guide millions towards an untroubled heart and boundless freedom. Chapter 1. The Prince's Journey, From Luxury to the Truth of Suffering. Our story begins over 2,600 years ago with Siddhartha Gautama. Born a prince into a wealthy Hindu royal family in Kapilavastu, a region now at the border of India and Nepal, a pivotal prophecy at his birth declared he would either be a mighty emperor or a great spiritual leader. His father, King Suddhodana, desperate for a worldly heir, chose to shield Siddhartha from all forms of suffering, aging, illness, poverty, and death, hoping to bind him to the throne. Siddhartha grew up in a palace of illusions, surrounded by every imaginable luxury, every desire instantly fulfilled. Yet, despite this pampered existence, a growing sense of dissatisfaction brewed within him. This subtle unease, a form of dukkha, suffering inherent in conditioned existence, led him to question the purpose of such a life. One day, on a journey outside the palace walls, he encountered the four sights: an old man, a sick man, and a corpse. These encounters shattered his sheltered reality, revealing the universal truths of aging, illness, and death. Overwhelmed by these sorrows, and inspired by the sight of a serene ascetic monk, Siddhartha realized the world was a burning house, consumed by suffering. He abandoned his palace, his wife, and his newborn son, whom he named Rahula, meaning fetter or shackle, signifying his attachment, driven by an urgent quest to find a solution to suffering for all beings. This act of renunciation, nekkhamma, was a profound break from the principles of indulgence, bhoga aishwarya prasuktanam, and a quest for a higher purpose. It was a conscious rejection of the fleeting pleasures that bind one's consciousness and prevent true spiritual insight. As described in texts like the Bhagavad Gita, vyavasayatmika buddhi samadhau na vidyate, one whose intellect is attached to enjoyment cannot achieve true concentration. Siddhartha embarked on a spiritual journey, experimenting with extreme asceticism, starving himself for years. But he realized this too was an extreme, leading only to more suffering. He discovered the middle way, Majjhima Patipada, a path of moderation. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 9. Janma mritu hara vyadi dukkha dosanudarsanam, realizing the pain and suffering associated with birth, death, old age, and disease. Siddhartha's journey was a direct experience of this truth, recognizing the inherent flaws in material existence. Chapter 2. The Truth of Identity, Beyond Caste and Contamination. Siddhartha's journey led him to his enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. He became the Buddha. He discovered the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path, a blueprint for ending suffering. After this, he dedicated his life to teaching. Let me share a story from his early days of teaching, a powerful lesson about identity, prejudice, and the true meaning of purity. One hot, sunny day, the Buddha was traveling. He encountered an outcast woman, considered untouchable in the rigid caste system prevalent at the time, carrying a pot of cool water. It was incredibly hot, and the Buddha, feeling thirsty, stopped her. "Can you offer me some water?" he asked. The woman hesitated, her eyes filled with shame. "Oh, Brahman," she replied, "do not ask for water from me, for I am contaminated. I am of the lowest caste." The Buddha's response was revolutionary. "I asked for water, not your caste. How are you contaminated?" he questioned gently. She explained, because I am an outcast, born into a low caste. The Buddha then delivered a profound teaching, directly challenging the deeply ingrained social prejudice. The human who harbors anger, who is greedy, who is jealous, who holds malice, who is dishonest, hypocritical, that person is of low caste. Birth does not define your caste, your actions and your qualities define who you are. This resonates deeply with the Bhagavad Gita's teaching in chapter 4, verse 13. Katarvarnyam maya surstam gunakarma vibhagasa. The four divisions of human society were created by me according to their qualities and actions, not by birth. The Buddha echoed this truth. A person is a Brahmin or a Shudra, low caste, by their karma, actions, and guna, qualities, not by birth. This was a radical message of equality, emphasizing individual conduct over inherited status. Chapter 3. The Untouched Heart. Forgiveness beyond the past. The Buddha often stayed at the homes of his disciples. Once, he was at the home of a female disciple. As a maidservant was serving food, a large dish of food slipped from her hands and fell, scattering food on the floor. The maid looked terrified, expecting to be severely scolded or punished. But the mistress, the Buddha's disciple, simply smiled and calmly said, "No worries, bring another dish." The maid was utterly astonished. My previous master would have beaten me badly. She wouldn't have just yelled. She would have created chaos. Later, when the Buddha had left, the maid asked her mistress, "Madam, why didn't you get angry? How can you have so much compassion and love? How could you forgive so quickly?" The mistress smiled and revealed a profound truth. This very morning, I received news that my husband and all 8 of my sons were killed. Someone murdered them. The maid was shocked. Such a great tragedy. And you are not disturbed? You are still serving the Buddha with a smile? The mistress replied, "Because I am a disciple of Lord Buddha, and he taught me the secret of life, just as Lord Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita." Chapter 6, verse 19. Yatha Deepo Navadastho Nengate Sapamas Smrta Yogino Yatachitasya Yunjato Yogamatmana. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the mind of a yogi who controls his mind remains steady while practicing meditation. The enlightened one, Buddha, teaches that one who has conquered their mind cannot be swayed by external circumstances. My internal purification is more powerful than any external contamination. My past does not define me, only my present conduct and future aspirations do. This story illustrates the true power of an unperturbed mind. Buddha teaches that your purification is more powerful than any contamination. He wasn't concerned with the maid's past, but her present intention and future path. He teaches that doubt is a debilitating disease, like termites, consuming one from within. Chapter 4. The Taming of the Elephant, Confidence, Motivation, and Dharma. The Buddha's teachings weren't just about inner peace. They were about unlocking immense inner power and transforming real-world situations. Let me share a story about a majestic war elephant, the king's most powerful, obedient, sensible, and skilled elephant. This elephant was a master in warfare, winning every battle for his king. One day, this mighty elephant got stuck in a deep, muddy swamp. His powerful legs sank deep into the clay, and he couldn't pull himself out. Everyone tried their best, exerting immense force, but the elephant remained trapped. Exhausted, they called upon the Buddha for help. The Buddha arrived, surveyed the scene, and with a serene smile, gave an unexpected instruction. Do a small thing. Everyone, go and bring the war drums. Beat the war drums loudly. Dha 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 dha. People were astonished, wondering what this had to do with rescuing the elephant. But they obeyed. As the war drums beat furiously, the elephant, which had been motionless in the mud, suddenly stirred. It shook its head violently, trumpeted loudly, raised its trunk, pulled one leg out of the mud, then the other. With a mighty roar, the elephant pulled itself out of the swamp. People were amazed. This elephant, which everyone failed to pull out, came out just by hearing the war drums. They asked the Buddha, "How did this happen?" The Buddha explained, its physical ability wasn't lacking. It just needed a little confidence and motivation. That confidence and motivation from the war drums reignited its inner strength. Similarly, just as Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita had no physical deficiency but a mental one, which Krishna motivated him to overcome. So too can we. Like Krishna says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, Verse 3. Klabiyam ma sma gamma partha nitat vayapapadyate, kasudram hrdayadorbalyam tyaktvatistha parantapa. Yield not to unmanliness, O son of Pritha, it does not befit you. Give up this petty faint-heartedness and arise, O vanquisher of foes. And again, in Chapter 2, Verse 37. Hato va prasayazi svargam jidva va bhakshase mahim, tasmadutistha kaunteya yudaya kirtanaskaya. If you are killed in battle, you will attain heaven, or if you conquer, you will enjoy the earth as a king. Therefore, arise, O son of Kunti, and fight with determination. Krishna tells Arjuna that in both victory and defeat, he wins. The Buddha's lesson is clear: if you can surround yourself with people, with a community, that provides you with motivation and confidence, you too can overcome any obstacle. Chapter 5. Collaborate, not compete, the story of the scoreboard. The Buddha taught that jealousy and competition based on ego often bring more suffering than failure itself. He shared a powerful story about this. A very rich businessman came to the Buddha, lamenting, "Lord, I am very troubled. I used to be a big merchant, but my entire business has collapsed." "What happened?" the Buddha asked. "My childhood friend was very poor. I helped him, gave him immense support, so much so that today he has become a huge merchant, growing every day, and I keep becoming poorer. Completely ruined. I see him daily becoming bigger, and I see myself falling. This makes me miserable." The Buddha asked, "Did you ask him for help?" The businessman replied, "No, I couldn't. I didn't want to humble myself." The Buddha then revealed the mistake. Your biggest failure is that you focused on his growth, not your own. He focused on his own growth, and that made him successful. You focused on his growth, and that became your downfall. Humans are not as unhappy from their own suffering as they are from the happiness of others. This destructive envy is an asuri, demonic, quality. As described in the Bhagavad Gita, Dambo darpo abhimanaska krodha parusyameva ka, ijnanam kabajateja partha sampadamasuram, hypocrisy, arrogance, pride, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of a demonic disposition. Envy cannot be ended by envy, it ends with love. The royal cook and the visible scoreboard. This wisdom extends to how we present our work. A royal cook once approached the Buddha, weeping, "Lord, I work so hard. I do so much cutting, chopping, cooking. I create innovative dishes, but I always go unnoticed. No one appreciates my work. No one gives me credit." The Buddha smiled. "How far is the main gate of the palace? How long does it take to reach there?" The cook replied, 2 hours, Lord, to go and come back. Go, touch the gate, and return as fast as you can." The Buddha said. The cook ran and returned in 1 hour. Astonishing everyone, people questioned if he even reached the gate. The Buddha sent him again. And again he returned in an hour. When people still doubted, the Buddha instructed him to have a disciple stand at the gate as a witness. The cook ran again, touched the gate, and returned, confirmed by the witness. The Buddha then explained, "I wanted to show you that when you work, you must work in collaboration and contribution, not in isolation. You must make your work visible. Your work is like touching the gate. It must be seen and recognized for you to get credit." He related it to a visible scoreboard in business and life. This concept is mirrored in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verse 9, where Lord Krishna reveals his Vishwarup, universal form, to Arjuna, showing his full divine glory, indicating that sometimes one must display their true power and achievements for others to recognize. Chapter 6. The Unaccepted Parcel, Forgiveness and the Unwavering Mind. The Buddha's teachings on dealing with negativity are among his most practical. One day, as the Buddha was passing through a village, a very rude and abusive man began loudly insulting him, calling him stupid and a fake monk. The Buddha was completely unaffected, continuing to smile and walk on. The villagers, astonished, asked, "He insulted you so badly. Didn't you feel bad? Why didn't you respond?" The Buddha asked them, "If you send a letter or a parcel to someone's home, and for some reason, the recipient does not receive it, what happens to that parcel?" The villagers replied, "It comes back to the sender." The Buddha smiled. "That is exactly what I am doing. What he offered me, if I do not accept it, it goes back to the sender. The man, deeply disturbed by the Buddha's non-reaction, followed him. He was furious that his insults had no effect. In a fit of rage, he spat directly on the Buddha's face. The Buddha calmly wiped the spit, smiled, and continued walking. The man was so utterly shaken by this complete lack of reaction that he couldn't sleep all night. His wife, witnessing his distress, told him, "He is the greatest saint, you did wrong." The next day, filled with immense remorse, the man went to the Buddha's assembly and publicly begged for forgiveness. "Please forgive me, I made a mistake yesterday." The Buddha replied, "I cannot forgive you. How can I forgive you?" The surrounding disciples were puzzled. The Buddha is so compassionate. Why is he refusing to forgive? The Buddha then explained, "You are asking forgiveness for yesterday. But that was yesterday, and I do not dwell on yesterday. For me, every day is a new day. Since I do not remember that you did anything wrong yesterday, how can I forgive you? Every morning, we are born again." This profound teaching resonates with Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 69. Ya nisa sarvabhatanam tejam jagarti sanyami, yajam jagrati bhutani sa nisa pasyato mune. What is night for all beings? Is the time of waking for the self-controlled, and that in which all beings are awake. Is night for the introspective sage. It's also reflected in chapter 6, verse 19. Yatha deepo navadastho nengate sapama smrta yogino yatachitasya yunjato yogamatmana. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the mind of a yogi who controls his mind remains steady while practicing meditation. The one who has conquered their mind cannot be defeated by external circumstances. The Buddha teaches that holding onto anger is like holding a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. The first person to get burned is you. You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. Chapter 7. The search for happiness, within, not without. A woman of dark complexion, considered ugly by societal standards, came to the Buddha, deeply unhappy. "I am so ugly, so unfortunate. How can I find happiness?" she lamented. The Buddha smiled. "I want to show you the way. Go and find a person in this world who has no sorrow and is always happy. Bring them to me." She went to a farmer, who worked hard but gave most earnings to the landlord. He was unhappy. Then she went to the landlord, who had wealth but lived in fear of robbers. He was unhappy. She went to the king's minister, who held power but was burdened by public demands and political pressures. He was unhappy. Finally, she went to the king, who had ultimate power but lived in constant fear of enemies and assassination. He too was profoundly unhappy. She returned to the Buddha, understanding no one outside was truly happy. The Buddha explained, "Happiness is not outside, it is inside. Sukhama karatam avyayama, the happiness that is inexhaustible. This true happiness, this inner knowledge, Raj Vidya, comes from within, by your own effort, not by depending on others. Those who constantly complain can never be truly happy." Chapter 8. The prostitute's offering, purity of intention and equanimity. The Buddha and his Sangha had a rule, not to stay in any village for more than 3 days to avoid burdening the local community. One day, they entered a new village. There, a beautiful and famous courtesan, Ambapali, welcomed the Buddha. She invited him to accept alms food at her home. The villagers were shocked. "Lord," they pleaded, "she is a prostitute. It will be inauspicious. Your purity will be destroyed." The Buddha replied, "Why should it be inauspicious? Why will my purity be destroyed? She has invited me with such love and affection. I will accept her love and affection. I am not accepting her body." The Buddha went to Ambapali's home. She offered him new robes, a new resting place, and a grand meal. She even slept near him, in a separate area. Respectfully, the entire village was distraught, believing the Buddha's purity was tainted. The next morning, the villagers gathered outside, eager to see the fallen Buddha and the prostitute. But when the door opened, both the Buddha and Ambapali emerged. Everyone was stunned. Ambapali was no longer wearing her lavish clothes. She had donned simple saffron robes, shaved her head, and had become a bhikkhuni, nun. She had given all her immense wealth to the Buddha to build a Buddhist monastery. The Buddha's act embodied Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 19. Jnanavinyanatarpitatma kutastho vijatendraya, yukta iti yogi samalastasmakanjana. A person who is self-satisfied with knowledge and wisdom, who is unchangeable and has controlled his senses, is called a yogi. He sees a clod, a stone, and gold as equal. The Buddha's purity was unshakable. He saw dirt, stone, and gold as equal. He saw no difference between a prostitute and a queen in their capacity for awakening. Chapter 9. The Value of Contribution, the Royal Cook and the Visible Scoreboard. The Buddha taught the importance of collaboration and visibility in our contributions. A royal cook once approached the Buddha, weeping, "Lord, I work so hard. I create innovative dishes, but I always go unnoticed. No one gives me credit." The Buddha smiled. "How far is the main gate of the palace? How long does it take to go and return?" 2 hours. The cook replied. "Go, touch the gate, and return as fast as you can." The Buddha said. The cook ran and returned in 1 hour. People doubted he even went. The Buddha sent him again, confirmed by a disciple acting as a witness. The Buddha explained, "When you work, you must work in collaboration and contribution, not in isolation. You must make your work visible. Your work is like touching the gate. It must be seen and recognized for you to get credit." This is the concept of a visible scoreboard in life and business. As Lord Krishna showed Arjuna his universal form, Vishwarup, in Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 11, verse 9. Sometimes you must display your efforts and achievements for them to be recognized and inspire others. Chapter 10. The Unaccepted Parcel, Forgiveness and the Unwavering Mind. The Buddha's teachings on dealing with negativity are among his most practical. One day, a rude man loudly insulted the Buddha. The Buddha was completely unaffected, continuing to smile. The villagers, astonished, asked, "He insulted you so badly. Didn't you feel bad? Why didn't you respond?" The Buddha asked them, "If you send a parcel to someone, and the recipient does not receive it, what happens?" The villagers replied, "It comes back to the sender." The Buddha smiled. "That is exactly what I am doing. What he offered me, if I do not accept it, it goes back to the sender." The man, deeply disturbed by the Buddha's non-reaction, followed him. In rage, he spat on the Buddha's face. The Buddha calmly wiped the spit, smiled, and continued walking. The man was so shaken that he couldn't sleep. The next day, filled with remorse, he sought forgiveness. The Buddha replied, "I cannot forgive you. How can I forgive you? That was yesterday, and I do not dwell on yesterday. For me, every day is a new day. Since I do not remember that you did anything wrong yesterday, how can I forgive you? Every morning, we are born again." This profound teaching resonates with Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 2, verse 69. The self-controlled are awake to reality, and Chapter 6, verse 19. A steady mind, like a lamp in a windless place. One who has conquered their mind cannot be defeated by external circumstances. The Buddha teaches that holding onto anger is like holding a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. The first person to get burned is you. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. Chapter 11. Finding Inner Peace, the Pursuit of True Happiness. A young man once asked the Buddha if immense effort alone could bring inner peace and freedom from suffering. The Buddha smiled and replied that happiness is not outside, it is inside. Sukham karitam avyayam, the happiness that is inexhaustible. This true happiness comes from within, through self-knowledge, Raj Vidya, not external striving. This principle aligns with Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 6, verse 20-23. Yato paramate chitam nirudam yogasavaya. Tam vidyadukasanyogavayogam yogasanjanitam. When the mind, disciplined by yoga practice, attains cessation of all material activities, then one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness. That is actual freedom from all miseries coming from material contact. The Buddha teaches that we experience dukkha, suffering, when we are unregulated. Excessive eating or too little eating, too much sleep or too little sleep, too much effort or too little effort, all lead to suffering. True happiness comes from balance and moderation, living contented with what you have. Chapter 12. The Gift of Devotion, Quantity versus Quality. The Buddha taught that true devotion and generosity are measured not by the size of the offering, but by the purity of the intention and the completeness of the sacrifice. When the Buddha was in a village, many rich men came with grand gifts, offering huge treasures. The Buddha received them and would simply tell his disciples to put them aside. Then, a poor old woman, hesitant and hiding behind a tree, approached. She had nothing to offer but a half-eaten apple, her only food. She humbly offered it to the Buddha. The Buddha smiled, took the half-eaten apple, and immediately began to eat it. His disciples were astonished. "Lord, you put aside all those grand gifts, but you ate this half-eaten apple?" The Buddha explained, "Understand my words simply. Bhava Grahi Janardana, God, or the enlightened one, accepts the sentiment, emotion, not the object." These rich merchants gave only 1/10 of their capacity. They had much more to give, but they held back 90%. This old woman, she had only half an apple, but that was 100% of her capacity. She gave her all without worry for herself. I accept the pure intention, the pure devotion. This also aligns with Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, verse 18. Vidyavinaya sampan brahmain gavi hastini, suni kava svapake ka pandita samadarzina. A wise person, equipped with knowledge and humility, looks with an equal eye upon a Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and even a dog-eater. The Buddha taught us to see all beings with an equal eye, without discrimination based on wealth or status. True happiness is found not in acquiring everything, but in giving everything. Chapter 13. Parinirvana, the end of a cycle, the beginning of a legacy. The time came for the Buddha to complete his earthly lila, divine play or manifestation. It is said that he was born on the full moon day of Buddha Purnima, attained enlightenment on the same day, and also passed away on the same day, marking a complete cycle. His final moments were spent in Kushinagar, where he had his last meal with a blacksmith named Kunda. Before dying, Buddha explicitly told everyone that no one was responsible for his death, signifying his understanding of karma and anicca, impermanence. As he entered parinirvana, his disciples were around him. He gave final teachings, including 6 crucial instructions: no killing, ahimsa, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, speaking the truth, no intoxicants, no taking, giving bribes. He also reiterated 3 core noble truths. Dukkha, suffering, is unavoidable. The cause of dukkha is tanha, desire, craving. Dukkha ends when tanha ends. His final pose, the half-reclined posture, is highly sacred in Buddhism, representing his serene transition beyond the cycle of birth and death. Buddhist insight. This section covers the Buddha's parinirvana, emphasizing his final teachings as a summary of the Dhamma. His clear statement about his death reinforces anicca and karma, preventing blame. The reiterated precepts and noble truths serve as a final emphasis on the practical path to liberation. The description of his passing into parinirvana highlights the ultimate goal of nirvana as complete freedom from suffering and the cycle of samsara. Conclusion. The unshakable wisdom, your path to ultimate freedom. The Buddha's life and teachings offer a revolutionary path to liberation, transcending the illusions of suffering and conventional happiness. His wisdom, preserved for millennia, provides concrete guidance for every challenge we face. Key learnings for your personal Buddha story. The mind is everything. Your thoughts shape your reality. Cultivate a mind free from anger, greed, and ignorance, and you will find peace. Application. Be mindful of your inner dialogue. Choose to nurture positive, wholesome thoughts over negative ones. Karma is unwavering. Your actions, words, and intentions are the ultimate sculptors of your destiny. Good deeds lead to good outcomes. Unskillful deeds lead to suffering. Application. Practice right action and right intention. Live with integrity and compassion. Knowing your choices create your future. True happiness is internal. It's not found in external possessions, status, or the opinions of others. It arises from within, from contentment, gratitude, and a mind free from desire. Application. Cultivate gratitude for what you have. Seek joy in simple moments. Understand that authentic happiness is a state of being, not a destination. Balance, middle way, is key. Avoid all extremes. Whether in pleasure, asceticism, or emotional responses, find the harmonious middle ground. Application. Observe your own tendencies. Are you pushing too hard? Or being too passive? Seek moderation in all aspects of your life. Letting go leads to freedom. Attachment to desires, past grievances, or even beliefs prevents true liberation. The path to nirvana is one of non-clinging. Application. Practice non-attachment. Release the need to control outcomes or cling to what is impermanent. Forgive yourself and others for true freedom. Be your own light. The Buddha encouraged self-reliance. The path to awakening is personal, walked by your own diligence and inner wisdom. Application. Trust your own intuition. Develop your inner strength through practice. You have the inherent potential to find your own truth and overcome your own suffering. The Buddha's teachings, like a timeless compass, guide us toward a life of profound peace, compassion, and ultimate freedom. They call us to awaken to our true nature, to live with purpose, and to transform ourselves from within. Thank you for watching, and may you always carry the profound peace and illuminating wisdom of these stories within your heart. Join our growing community by liking this video and subscribing to Buddha's Story, where ancient wisdom beautifully meets modern mindfulness. What core teaching from the Buddha resonates most deeply with you today? Share your reflections and experiences in the comments below. Until our next encounter, may your path be filled with profound peace, deep understanding, and the radiant light of your own awakening.